And over here they stopped one more motorcycle rider, no helmet, and he's wearing slippers. There was a bit of an argument, but it looks like he's now reaching for his license. And over here they're issuing a ticket to this gentleman that was riding the big bike. I don't know if he works for the Barangay or if he's a local enforcer, but they are ticketing him for riding without helmet. Same rules apply to everyone, whether you're a regular, you know, everyday ordinary citizen, or if you're some form of law enforcement. And I can't believe this, but the gentleman's motorcycle is actually being impounded. He can't show a driver's license. And over here one more motorcycle that's going to be impounded, wearing slippers, no helmet, can't show a driver's license unfortunately. And over here one more motorcycle, again no helmet, wearing slippers, which is dress code violation, and I think it's going to be impounded. Also can't show a license. And they just stopped this motorcycle. Also there's 2 BBSO on it, unfortunately not wearing helmets. The BBSO already handed over his license, so it will just be a ticket. Their bike won't be impounded. And they just stopped that bike behind, little child on the front, no helmet, plus mummy. So this one will be excess passenger for the little girl and no helmet. And one more motorcycle they stopped over here, little boy and daddy, no helmet. Unfortunately can't show a license, so towing crew coming now. They'll be taking the bike away. And over here they're impounding this tricycle. It was being driven by a 17-year-old boy. He was wearing slippers and doesn't have a driver's license. Another thing with this is it's registered as a motorcycle without sidecar, but obviously it has a sidecar attached. And over here one more ticket being issued, both the driver and passenger without helmets. This man here is trying to put on his helmet now, but it's too late. They already saw him riding without it. That's why if you have a helmet, just wear it. It's so much cheaper and so much safer. And same thing over here. The lady on the back has a helmet, but she chose not to wear it. So unfortunately they're now getting a ticket for 1,500 peso. And they just stopped this gentleman driver here, not using his seatbelt. I think the penalty is only 150 peso, but nonetheless they'll enforce it. So they're just writing out the ticket now, and then they'll send him on his way. And they saw one more motorcycle over here, back rider, no helmet. They just stopped this tricycle now because of the unauthorized license plate. They want to verify the documents for this tricycle, and that took about 5 seconds. Can't show an ORCR or driver's license, so they're calling in the tow truck. And they just stopped this bike now. The lady's very well dressed, but unfortunately no helmet. So as long as he has a driver's license, it would just be a ticket. There you go, he has a license. Look at Snow White down here. And they just stopped one more rider, no helmet, dress code violation. Looks like he has a license, so it'll be a ticket, and he'll be told to push the bike until he gets a helmet. Although in reality, he'll probably just continue driving without helmet. They stopped this red NMAX because there's an excess passenger, an extra little boy, and none of them have helmets. And unfortunately the driver can't show a license, so you'll see the towing crew here now. They're going to impound the bike. They just stopped this motorcycle here. They actually have 2 helmets, but unfortunately they weren't wearing them, so they're issuing a ticket now. No helmet, wearing slippers, can't show a license, so they'll be impounding the bike. And over here 2 more motorcycles have been stopped for riding without helmets. Unfortunately neither of them can show a license, so their bikes are being impounded. Sometimes it's just as simple as leaving their license at home, but sometimes, or a lot of the time, they really never got a license. And over here it says I was writing out a ticket for this sidewalk obstruction. You can see that the sidewalk is relatively clear until you get to this point, and someone's built their garage extending over it. So they issue a ticket now. I think the penalty is 1,000 peso, and you could keep issuing that every day until it's removed. Just stop this motorcycle rider here wearing a baseball cap instead of a motorcycle helmet. Let's see. Yep, has a license, so it's just a ticket, no argument. And over here you'll see says I was taking a picture of this one. Same problem, the gate extends over the sidewalk. As much as possible they should modify their own private property instead of extending out. So if that means losing a little bit of living space so they can fit their car inside, then that's how it should be.
Hindi ko alam na ganyan yan.
Pero na-advise na po kayo ng barangay. Na-advise na po kayo.
Hindi naman ganong ano, pag giniba niya kasi lahat yan magigiba. Ayan nga, tinanggal nila nun yung ano, nagiba yan, no? Tinatali ko lang ng alambre. Ayan, sa gilid.
Hindi, kasi ganito ma'am. Kung gigibayan po yan, yung ito lang naman part na to ng portion na naka-encroach.
Kasi yan ang pinaka-ano niya.
Kaya nga po, kasama po yan sa tatanggalin. Kasi naka-encroach na po ng sidewalk yan eh.
Hindi naman ganong nandoon.
Hindi po, kahit na po, basta naka-encroach na sidewalk po.
Pagka nag-iba kayo magpagawa, kasi ako wala talagang salapi. Dahil yung asawa ko, nagloko, wala nang sinutuling, wala sa amin sinusustento. Ang pinakikinabangan ko lang yun, nag-aaral pa yung isang anak ko, paano kung saan mabubuhay kami yan?
Ito lang naman po tatanggalin natin, ma'am.
Pag tinanggal nyo nga, magigiba lahat yan. Kasi nung tinanggal, puro kayo hindi nyo naman alam kung sinong gumawa yan. Kinausap ko na yung ano eh. Puro kayo hindi, puro hindi. Paano pagka nagiba lahat? Paano ngayon yan?
Hindi po magigiba lahat yan, ma'am.
Ako ay gusto naman, o saan ako kukuha ngayon ng pagpagawa niyan?
Hindi po magigiba yan, ma'am.
Kami lang lagi ang apektado.
Hindi po. Lahat po. Lahat po ito yung batas para sa lahat. Hindi lang po para sa inyo.
This is what they're talking about, this structure here that seems to be extending over the sidewalk. Imagine if there was a fire and they tried to get out. They'd be dead. They can't even get this padlock off the gate. They've been trying for 4 or 5 minutes now. They can't break the padlock. So the MMDA are going to help them escape using bolt cutters.
Okay, go. Oh.
Ma'am, ganito na lang po. Kung di nyo po pagigiba, kung di nyo po patatanggal yan, ma'am, ganito na lang po.
Ibain nyo muna iba dyan.
Sandali lang po, ma'am. Ma'am, huwag nyo po kami utusan, no? Ganito na lang po. Kung di po nyo
Sabay-sabay.
kung di nyo po pagagalaw yan, ma'am.
Okay, nani-stress niya ako. Nakitang ganyan, may sakit ako. Hindi na makabiling gamot.
Issue ako na naman kayo ng issue ako na lang po kayo ng violation ticket regarding po dyan. Then kung meron po kayo, kung kailan kayo magkakaroon ng time na kayo na po magkusa magtatanggal, kayo na po mag-self-demolish. Ano po pangalan nyo, ma'am? Para kayo na po kung ano nyo pong sige tanggalin, para hindi po magkaroon ng
Walang kami na ayan, pipesa na naman mag-small.
Ma'am, hindi lang po kayo.
Kami naman laging masama.
Ma'am, hindi lang po kayo natikitan ko. Meron na po.
Sinabi nila no, hindi bawal yan. Ginagawa nila yan. Malay ko ba nabili namin, ganyan na yan. Pagkasa nawala na yung asawa ko, nagdukuran ng babae na.
Ano po mga piligo nyo, ma'am?
Mahirap tsaka nilang pinag-pinag.
Okay.
And just across from that lady, they're now looking at this property. Same thing, they believe it's extended out onto the sidewalk with this step here. Now you might say, why does it matter? Well, number one, if it's public property, it's public property. No one has a right to build on it. Two, what about wheelchair users? Three, what about old people who aren't so stable on their feet? They need a much wider sidewalk so they don't fall off. So there's many reasons why they want to clear the sidewalks. The owner of this one didn't complain, that gentleman there, he just said, okay, I'm sorry, issue a ticket and we'll remove it. So that's much better experience. And over here they're writing out a ticket for this one. There's a lot of construction materials on the sidewalk, and you'll see over here the sidewalk completely disappears. Again, an extended gate. So Cesar just went to issue a ticket to this one. So after a little bit of debate, they don't want to take the ticket, and the sidewalk clearing team are dismantling the gates. So they just removed one component. Over here where the car was parked, he's folding the gate in. The problem is, once they bring the car back, the gate is still going to obstruct the sidewalk. So I think they're going to clear it regardless. So they managed to bring that one down, but again they're going to let him keep it, so there is a chance that it will just be reinstalled once they leave. I guess it's down to the barangay to make sure that that doesn't happen. And on the other side of the street you'll see clear sidewalk until you get to this far, and then someone's extended their house. This one over here also said they're not willing to take a ticket, so they'll knock this down. If you look at the original sidewalk, you can see the wall there, and then it goes like that. So this whole section here appears to be extended, and then in fact the whole top of the house also. So what are they going to do about that? I know they can knock back this bit. What about all of this? And you'll see the BPSO are now spray painting to show where the sidewalk should be. You see they're putting some tarpaulin over the window now to protect it from stones. If you look over here at this lottery outlet, They're also planning to bring this down. The owner said, yep, take it down, it's okay. And you'll see that this is the sidewalk here, and then it disappears with this small lotto shop. Further along, they're looking at all these sari stores that have been built on the sidewalk. They're asking them to dismantle them now. And they just stopped this motorcycle here. Mummy and daddy have helmets, little baby sucking on a bottle. Of course, no helmet, not allowed on the motorcycle anyway, even if it did have a helmet. And over here they're issuing a ticket to this one sari store built on the sidewalk and advising them to self-demolish, otherwise the Barangay will come in and they'll be the ones to demolish it. They just stopped this motorcycle rider with no helmet. He said, I already have a ticket, but of course he doesn't. The other residents are giving him a hard time now, saying, you know there's an operation and you still came through without a helmet. Anyway, tickets being issued, then they'll send him on his way. And over here you'll see more self-demolition ongoing. And again over here you have a simple sidewalk until you get to this point, and then someone's built a little wall. Why would you do that? I guess this one was put here so that when people buy food and drink from the sari store they can hang out. But it should be a sidewalk for pedestrians, and they'll knock it down with a hammer. I imagine it's not that well built, so probably it'll come down quite easily. And right now they're looking at this one here, extended over the sidewalk. Somebody in the property came out and said it's not ours, if you want to remove it, go ahead. You see this is a new install because they run the electrics, but there's no meter yet. So yeah, maybe they just took control of the property now and this was installed by someone else. So they'll bring it down. Although the wood is old and rotten, the felt on top looks pretty new. And the Barangay just pulled out a vehicle with water, which is good because it saves the guys having to buy it from a shop. And if you look here, you'll see sidewalk and then someone's extended gate. It's already been painted by the Barangay for destruction, demolition. I'm not sure if a ticket was issued because I only just arrived now. And right now they're looking at this property. Again, the wall comes out onto the sidewalk, obstructs pedestrians from passing through. Yes, there are some trees, but that doesn't mean it's okay to fully obstruct it. And just next to that wall is like a waiting shed or something like that. So again, this kind of thing isn't really allowed because it's meant to be a public sidewalk. And look at this one, sidewalk, 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 and then boom, I need a little bit more space for my house and my business, so no more sidewalk. Incredible, absolutely incredible. Here it is from another angle, sidewalk, a little bit of sidewalk here, and then wala na, finished na, dead na. And over here they're clearing a bunch of junk off the sidewalk. They're not buying it, it's a private road, and honestly I don't buy it either because to me it looks like it's a government maintained road. And even the gutter covers or the sewer covers, they say Quezon City. You can't see it under all the mud here, but I can show you another one. And all over the sidewalk you'll see WB. It's not Warner Brothers, apparently it's the initials of the Barangay captain. So again, if this was private, there's no way they would let the Barangay captain put his initials all over the sidewalks. I think this is really a government owned land or government owned road. And they're talking now to this gentleman about the steps built on the sidewalk. Again, is it really necessary? It really will impact the way that people can pass through. Although saying that, this is such an extreme ramp that no one could walk on there anyway. So that's why people always just walk in the road, because at least it's flat, whereas on your sidewalk it's like this, it's up, it's down, it's a nightmare for pedestrians. They're looking at these two huge figurines. For some reason they've been installed on the sidewalk. So you can see here, nice clear sidewalk until you get this far, and then you've got the two figurines. So they're trying now to see if they can move them. They were cemented to the floor, but they've been able to leverage something underneath and kind of get them free. So they should be able to push these inside, and hopefully the Barangay Barangay will maintain this and they won't let them bring them back out here on the sidewalk. They do look really cool, but this is just not the place on the sidewalk. It should be on the private property. And yes, these are extremely heavy because they're not hollow inside, they're actually solid. And says I will also be writing out a ticket for this business for obstructing the sidewalk. This one is a little bit more stubborn. They haven't managed to move it yet, but they're trying their best. As much as possible, they don't want to damage them because they're very nice. And right now there's been someone from this daycare center. It's a nice idea to have a garden and plant trees or vegetables or whatever. Problem is it's a sidewalk, so it's not really the correct place to have it. And they just flagged over this motorcycle, no helmet, 2 people, but they have a license. And again over here you'll see the residents are clearing their own obstructions. In an ideal world the barangay would drive around and do this. Maybe they are doing it and maybe just no one's listening to them, I'm not sure. And they just took down a little bench that was here and a little garden, but they let the lady take the plants. I'm not sure about these 2 walls that are being built here. It just makes so much work for the clearing teams. So sidewalk is kind of reappearing. They're just trying to break down those blocks so they won't be reinstalled. And they're also cutting back this low-hanging roof that was extended over the sidewalk. And you see this little boy walking in the road. Why? Because garages extended over the sidewalk. So since I was writing out a ticket now, there's a number of them in this area like that. Here it is from another angle. Over here is another man self-demolishing, so that saves the MMDA some work. They just stopped this schoolboy here. I wonder if he has a driver's license. No license, no helmet, so the bike will be impounded. You see there's no side mirrors on the bike either. They just stopped this jeepney here. Original violation, driver's not wearing a seatbelt. Then dress code, wearing slippers. And then apparently the registration is expired, and well, let's see if there's a valid driver's license. And if you look at the back, you'll see there's no plate, and the driver's just refunding people now, unloading. The vehicle will be impounded.